Today's topic is playing 1-6-2-5 or 1-6-4-5 chord progressions. When I was doing some research on this, I was surprised to find that Police recorded Every Breath I Take, and that is based around a 1-6-4-5 chord progression. So let's take a look at what that is. Last time we did the progression which goes 1, 4, and 5 using this Nashville chord system. This time we're adding one more chord to it. We're putting a 1-6-4-5. So in the diatonic progression of chords, if I play a 7th chord, it goes like this. Then we find that the 6th chord is going to be a minor chord. So if I play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we get to A coming from C. So that would be the 6th chord, and then we put the 4 and the 5, which will be the F. So that might sound very familiar. Something like that, right? I forgot what they call that. That's something that my older brothers played when I was a kid, way back. It's from the 50s. There were so many songs that use this chord progression. There are 2 variations. So the 1-6-4-5, and there's also the 1-6-2-5. Instead of the 4 chord, we're playing its relative minor, which actually turns out to be the 2 chord, right? So 1, 2, right? So we're going 1, 6, 2, 5, and then back to 1, right? So right, so that's a 1-6-2-5. So now what we need to do is find those chords all over the neck. We did that last time with the 1-4-5. This time we want to be able to do this. The perfect way to do this and to help you to memorize the neck at the same time is to play through this chord progression that I put into Jazz Lab. Let's take a look now about where we can find these on the guitar. That should be enough. If we have the root note on the 6th string, it's going to be a 6th string, then we already know that the 4 and the 5 are going to be right there. Now we're looking at the 6. So the 6 is going to be over here. So we can go 1, 6, 4, 5. Now if we're doing a 1-6-2-5, we can find the 2 right there. So we go 1, 6, 2, 5. Let's take a look at root notes on the 5th string. So if the root note were here, we get the same situation. We've got the 2 there. We already know that the 4 is there, and the 5 is there. And we also know that the 4 is there, and the 5 is there. And also we know that the 6 is there. So it's the same situation, only here we have some notes that we can play on the lower string. And we can also play the 6 right there. So now if we had this on the 4th string, let's say we have a root note. We're starting with a root note on the 4th string. Again, it's quite similar. We already know that the 4 and the 5 are going to be there. And we also know that the 4 and the 5 are going to be there. And we also know that the 6 is going to be right there. But one more that we can find, we know that an octave is going to be here, right? Whatever note this is. So that's going to be another root note right there. So it's like we're looking at this from this perspective over here. But we're taking this, that means that the 2nd is going to be there. Let's take a look at some of these 1-6-2-5 and 1-6-4-5 chords going around this circle of 4ths. Now just to find out where they're located on the fretboard, let's take the 1-6-4-5 first. And if we start with our typical C chord, we'll do a C major 7 just for this one. Now the 6th chord is going to be, if we go 2 strings over, 1 fret back, can be there. Or it can also, since we're starting on the 5th string, it could also be a 1 string back, 2 frets over. So let's go through the 1, 6, 4, 5. So I'm doing a minor chord there, an A minor, and then the 4 chord and the 5 chord, and then back to this one. Now if I do this as a dominant 7th, that leads us back into the next key around the circle of 4s, which would be F. So I'll do an F major 7. Now to go, if I were going over this way to the D string, I could use that D right there. So that is actually 2 strings over, 1 fret back. So I could go right. Then I could do this. So that was the 4 and the 5, and then back to the F there. So now if I think of the F as being over here, then that's going to be the 5th of B flat. So let's start with B flat. So B flat, we're on the 5th string now. So I could go to the G, but actually it's better to go down to this one, right? And then the 4 will be the E flat. I could do it, I could do it like that if I wanted to. The 4 and the 5 right there, or I could do it like that. That also. So different ways to do this. Or if I'm doing 7th chords, could do it like that. And then back to this one. So, and then if I'm doing a 7th chord there, dominant 7th chord, B flat. Next one will be E flat. So I could go here if I wanted to. Could play the E. Here's one that I didn't talk about, which is actually, we can go back, the relative minor. That 6th chord is going to be 4 frets back, or rather 1, 2, or rather 3 frets back. It's going to be 3 frets back from this C-shaped chord. And then we go over to the 4 chord, which would be there. Then do the 7th chord right there, and that would take us to the A flat. Right, so you get the idea with this. There are actually not that many variations to this. So, right, so you see how it goes. So you can go around the whole circle of 5ths playing those chords. Try the exercise that I'm putting next, which I'm also putting in a separate file that you can practice along with in a YouTube short.